Hi, welcome to another episode of A Day in the Life of a 50 plus unemployed filmmaker. I'm Patricia Tone, and today I am leaving Orange County, headed back to Inglewood. I am on the 22, I believe, CA 22, and I need to be going to the 405 North. So my story today is about the time I auditioned and got cast technically in the film Five Heartbeats. Oh yeah. So what had happened was I auditioned for the film. It was the role of his sister, the little girl, for when she grew up and became a teenager, I think, or a young adult. And I was to be the little girl when she grew up. Just as quickly as I got excited was just as quickly as the role was cut. Yeah, bummer. So, like I told you, I was getting around, y'all. I was auditioning for roles and meeting people. I got to meet Robert Townsend, and I was so excited. But in this audition trial and in all of these auditions and things like that, you get to meet other people, right, in the business, and people who are trying to do the same thing that you're trying to do. And so I met this guy, and I can't even think of his name right now, but I think he has a part in the movie where you see his face, and I'm going to go try to find that to add into this story. And so anyway, I met him. He seemed like a nice guy. He was all excited. He was one of those, at that time, Hollywood was about who you hung around and who you thought was cool and all of that jive, right? And so this guy was in this so-called Robert Townsend group clique or whatever. He lived not too far from me, and that's why we started talking more and becoming friendlier, because we lived in the same area. And like I said in another video, most of the people love to live in the valley because I think it was cheaper in some areas, and folks were closer to the it group, and that was the valley. It was the cool thing to say, oh, I live in the valley. I live in the valley. I was cool with saying I live off the Shaw. I live near the Shaw. I live near Chris Shaw. I loved living in that area. I don't know why. At the time I did. And I went over his house one day. He lived, or he say he lived. He probably, I don't know how true it was, because it didn't look very lived in. So anyway, I went over there. He lived in these townhomes, condominiums, or whatever you want to call it, off of Stalker near Santa Rosalia, down from the Crenshaws, near Stalker and Crenshaw, going up that hill. And so I went over there. It was a nice place, Like I said, it didn't look very well lived in. I don't know. But the moment I got there, he started putting all his hands all over me, getting frisky. They use another word for that now. They use another term for the word frisky now, And so I was like, oh, hold up, bro. Ain't nobody come over here for that. And I'm like, I don't know you like that. he tried to make contact and all this stuff and was trying to raise up my shirt and shit. I was like, dude, you about to get flatlined up in here. I ain't from LA. I'm from Houston, baby. I'm from old school Texas. We don't roll like that. You don't put your hands on me unless I want you to put your hands on me. So he started trying to talk about how he knew Robert Townsend and how he is cast in 5 Heartbeats and all of that. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this little part he was bragging about. Now, granted, okay, every part matters, and if you get a role in a film, it's a monumental thing. But he act like he was head singer. He act like he was Eddie. You ain't the lead singer. You ain't the lead talent, baby. And so I got frustrated and left because, like I said, I don't roll like that. You put your hands all over me unwanted. It's time to self-defend myself. So I got up and left. And some years later, many moons later, I was at the unemployment office on Crenshaw and 54th. I was in there I think I was trying to register and get some old data for something. I don't know, because, I was unemployed many times in my life, but I wasn't in there to sign up. I was in there to get some type of documentation. And lo and behold, I'm standing in line, I look up and dude is over there in line. And the look on his face like, I know you. I'm like, yeah, you know me. And he just smiled and said hi or whatever. I don't even think we had a real conversation because I don't have too much to say to people that disrespect me. Once you cross that disrespect line, I don't have too much more to say to you, period. The fact that he was in there, I was in there, and he kind of looked embarrassed, but I don't judge people by employment because I've been fired 5,711 times, and the majority of it was for a personal thing that the people had in the office. I was always getting fired for something. I had brown skin. I had clear skin. I had longer fingernails. My nails can grow by themselves. I was a size 5. I was a size 7. I was a size 10. I was black. I was, you name it. I have been fired for the most ridiculous things you could ever come up with. I have been not hired because when I say I have a degree in entertainment or in film and television, people don't want to hire me because they automatically think, well, what if this is what one lady said at a school in Santa Monica. Well, we're just afraid that you might make it big. Well, what the hell are you afraid for? Shit, I'm like, well, that hasn't happened yet, and that's not happening tomorrow or the next day or any time after that. Everybody just looks in this crystal ball and thinks they can see your future for you when you say you are in entertainment. And it's the most awful thing ever because everybody is judging you and your life, wanting you not to make it, but also not giving you a job. So it's like, well, who does she think she is? She ain't special. She might get rich in entertainment or whatever. No, we're not going to hire her. And everybody brings that up. They bring it up to the point that I take it off my resume now. Yeah, I have to take my degrees, my education off my resume And I don't enter it in the application or online unless it's a particular type of job where they do the background check about my education. That's the only time I will mention that I have a degree. And, people have funny feelings about people who have degrees and people who don't. And I don't know why. I guess y'all say some people think they so much better than people with a degree or whatever. And I don't understand the hate. I have always wanted a college degree because I like school. And I used to want to be a TV news reporter. And you had to have a degree to be a TV news reporter. And then when I moved to LA, you needed a degree to work on any studio lot. They didn't care what the degree was in, you needed a degree. And now in 2023, when I'm looking at all these studios, and the majority of them now say you don't really need a degree, it would be best. Let me tell you how I want to slap the saliva out of somebody for saying I don't need a degree after I done accrued all this damn student loan debt. Babe, it's not nice. And I've always had the years of experience, but it's been rough. It's rough for Black people to get on shows, and everybody gonna come on here and say it's tough for white people to get on shows. It's tough for everybody, any ethnicity, to get on the show. You can believe that if you want to. It's harder for a Black fat female to get on the show, a Black woman to get on the show, a Black man to get on the show, and then be there for the full term of the project. That's a whole different story, because they find anything to fire you for, And I'm not just saying a certain nationality fires you. Anybody will fire you. It's an ego thing in Hollywood that affects every nationality and culture once you are in the door. And all that stuff that y'all see in the news now, how they treat you like poop, you better believe it, baby. And it's been from some of the people you think you like. Okay, I'll go back. Now, so anyway, I didn't get to be in 5 Heartbeats. And I was sad about that, because I really liked Robert Townsend. He's actually one of the most nicest, kindest energy persons I've ever met. And then I figured out why, or I found out why, because he's an Aquarius, according to what I read back in the day. And I'm an Aquarius, so then that just made everything click. Oh, okay, Robert, I got you. But I've always liked him. He's always seemed like a nice dude. He was always smiling. Well, that's another episode of A Day in the Life of a 50-plus unemployed filmmaker. I'm Patricia Tone. Please hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment. Leave a like. Share this channel with your friends. Support a sister, Share some of this stuff. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody who watches my content. Hope you have a great evening and week, because today Monday, and I'm headed home on the 405 North, and see y'all next time. Take care.